Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. This is stage 3 of the Vuelta a España 2024, brought to you by Lupine Lights. Lupine Lights I've been riding since 2019, the finest set of bike lights I've used throughout my career, with multiple headlamps and multiple batteries to pick from. Use code LupineLights24 to save you 24% on your next ride in the dark. Now let's get into today's stage 3 of the Vuelta a España. At 191 kilometers, we'll call it about 120 miles in length, it's going to be one for the sprinters, there's no doubt about it. We saw yesterday Caden Groves beat Wout van Aert on the slight uphill rise to the finish, where Wout van Aert still took the race leader's red jersey. So when the cameras come on with 120 kilometers to go, we got 4 riders in the front. Euskaltel-Ezcadi have 2 riders in the front with Angel Mate up there, Xavier Izaza, his teammate, and then we started looking over at Kern Farmer with Iban Ruiz, who was in the break yesterday, and his teammate Unai Iribar. With those 4 riders up the front and about a 4.5 minute gap, we started looking back at the peloton. 2 teams on the front. Again, it's Visma Lease Bikes, Hessink on the front, followed by Luca up there. Luca from Albacete de Koenig. Well, they won yesterday, so you know Albacete want to ride full gas here with Visma Lease Bike and want to make it a field sprint. As these 2 teams are riding on the front, the 4 riders are working well together, and once they come up to the first KOM, it's Angel Mate getting maximum points. This will put him in the KOM jersey at the end of the day. Now the peloton behind still flying over at about 4 minutes and 10 seconds, but once they stop dropping down the descent, we start seeing minutes getting cut off on the time of the lead group of 4 up there. We come into the sprint line competition with about 52 kilometers to go, and we see it's Xavier up there from Euskaltel-Ezcadi winning the sprint competition. Behind in the peloton, what's happened? Wout van Aert wins it easy for 5th place points. 6th place points back there is Caden Groves, but Wout van Aert will move into the green points jersey competition right now with about 3 points over Caden Groves. But we still got to finish the stage. Up front, the 4 riders are reaching the 2nd category climb here. It's a category 4, and it's going to summit with about 41 kilometers to go. We see that Mate gets maximum points again to buffer his lead there at the KOM jersey. Once they drop down the descent, though, Xavier there, his teammate from Euskaltel-Ezcadi, is going solo. This kind of a little bit of a knucklehead move. The 4 riders should have stayed together right now, because the only thing you can hope for if you're trying to win the stage is a little bit of chaos back there. Maybe Visma Lease Bike don't want to ride more than Hessink on the front throughout the whole stage. Maybe Albacete de Koenig don't want to ride more than 2 riders, because they were riding Oscar Riesbeck and they were riding Luca back there. So if you're going full gas with 4 riders on the front instead of just 1 going solo, maybe the other teams wait too long, and maybe there's an opportunity at winning today's stage 3 for the breakaway. Instead, with just a solo rider up there, we see everyone else wrapped up. Then the solo rider, Xavier, he's going to get wrapped up with about 20 kilometers to go. Things start getting nervous right after this. It's curb to curb with 15 kilometers to go. We look over there and we still see it's Hessink on the front. Amazing ride here from Robert Hessink from Visma Lease Bike as he's going full gas. He'll drop off soon enough here with just a few kilometers to go. Now we come in at 12 kilometers to go. It's Steven Kruijswijk from Visma Lease Bike as it's still going curb to curb, but Steven Kruijswijk's riding the front. He's riding the front right now because Dylan van Baarle crashed on yesterday's stage 2 and he's out of the race. So Steven Kruijswijk, their climber right now that's normally there to support Kian Utebrooks and of course Sepp Kuss, last year's winner of the Vuelta a España. His turn's coming up a little bit sooner than he liked with the crash there of Dylan van Baarle in yesterday's race. Things start getting super nervous at 10 kilometers to go, and EF Education's all over the front trying to keep Richard Carapaz in fine position. With the curb-to-curb action and everything getting nervous, we're coming under 8.5 kilometers to go. Now it's time for Ineos to come to the front. It's Josh Tarling. If I bring you back to yesterday's stage 2, Josh Tarling crashed hard with just under 2 kilometers to go on the left side of the road when his wheels got caught in the ditch and then up on the sidewalk curb, so you know his crash was hard at that speed. Today, though, he's putting on a fine showing and he's keeping Richard Carapaz in good position. With just under 8 kilometers to go, now it's getting stressful in the pelotons because we start hitting all the roundabouts, and Ineos are winning the competition coming through the first dangerous section here on stage 3. We see EF Education still in fine position with Team Ineos. Once we come into just about 5 kilometers to go, the road widens up. This is going to allow the stress to drop just a little bit, but we still have to get into the finish of the stage as it's going curb to curb. Bort Hansgrohe's now at the front, but everybody's at the front because it's a wide road right now. We get into 3.3. Albacete de Koenig is taking over the front. They got at least 4, if not 5 riders at the front, but when we get the aerial shot just a few hundred meters later, looking down, well, we see there's just 4 Albacete de Koenig riders at the front. That means it's going to be a tough order right now with just about 3.3, 3.2 kilometers to go for Albacete de Koenig to keep it together. Once they lose their first rider, the next rider should be Xandro Meus. I'm taking an educated guess. The cameras here at the Vuelta a España, well, if someone threw in my phone, would probably get better pictures sent than the cameras they're using because it's hard to tell who's on the front. But as we see Xander Mayus, with my educated guess on the front, he's starting to look left. He's looking right. He needs some help because they only have 3 riders and 2 are the lead-out guys. There's for Caden Groves, yesterday's Stage 2 winner. As he's looking around, well, he's going to get some help because Attila Valter is going to come to the front for Viz Melisabike. As he hops on the front, he does about 200 meters on the front. Then he pulls off, and now it's time for Xander Mayus to take over riding full gas. As he's riding at the front, we're going to call it Edward Plankert on his wheel along with Caden Groves. Wout van Aert's always at the front. He's got a Feeney at the front too, his lead-out guy from yesterday's Stage 2. So you know Wout van Aert's feeling comfortable at this moment because he's got Albacine de Koenig going full gas on the front. We come into about 2 kilometers to go. As they come into this roundabout, there's no time to stop for a Big Mac or a quarter pounder, and they don't have quarter pounders over here in Spain. They call them Mick Royale. So as they're coming through the roundabout, there's no time for the drive-through, and they'll come out as the road starts to rise. Xander Mayus, he's going to back off just a little bit on the power, and my man and your man too, Victor Campenaerts, Loud Destinies, throwing in attack with 1.8 kilometers to go as the road starts to rise, and Albacine de Koenig are losing some power. Now, Xander Mayus is doing the wise thing right now as he's fanning the gap there up to our man Victor Campenaerts going full gas. We see Intermarché stuck in the gap there. He couldn't bridge the gap to Victor Campenaerts as he starts to blow and go back. Victor Campenaerts is coming under the Flamme Rouge with 1 kilometer to go. He's going full gas, but Xander Mayus is doing a magnificent job. He's been on the front since 3.3 kilometers to go, if not longer. Now we're coming into about 850 meters to go. He's wrapping up Victor Campenaerts. He'll pull all the way into about 700, maybe 650 meters to go. Then Xander Mayus has had enough, and he pulls off to the left. As we see Ed Plankert get on the front, he starts looking around. He needs some help. He knows it's 650 meters to go. It's a little bit too soon. Then Intermarché's Vito comes to the front, with Vito pulling full gas, with Ed Plankert sitting second, Caden Groves third, with Feeney coming up the left side with Wout van Aert on his wheel up to about 350 meters to go. He's going to drop off Wout van Aert on the back wheel there of Caden Groves. Up front, we see that Vito there from Intermarché is blowing. He's pulling off. Now, Ed Plankert knows at 350 meters to go, it's time to go full gas for himself, too. He's on the right side of the road. He jumps over to the right. He's got a sprinter, Caden Groves, on his wheel. Wout van Aert sitting there, and then we got a host of talent just behind him as we start seeing the field string out there as Ed Plankert's driving it on the front from the right side to the left side of the road. Now, Caden Groves is sitting second wheel. Wout van Aert's third. We're coming into about 210 meters to go. Wout van Aert throws in his acceleration. It's a massive hit on the pedals as he goes around the right side of Caden Groves and just past Ed Plankert. Caden Groves starts his sprint at 200 meters to go. He goes to the left side next to the fencing. Wout comes out. It's a little bit of a drag race, but not for very long because Wout van Aert starts getting the lead right away, moves over with 125 meters to go to the left side fencing. Now Caden Groves is sitting second as Caden Groves starts his sprint there with about 75 meters to go. He doesn't have enough to catch Wout van Aert as Wout van Aert flies across the line to win Stage 3 here of the Vuelta a España, with Caden Groves second from Albacine de Koenig. Third's going to be Euskaltel Euskadi Aberasturi there to round out the podium here on Stage 3 of the Vuelta a España. Now, in the interview from Wout van Aert after he's talking about what to expect in tomorrow's stage, he says the fun's over. For us fans sitting down the Chesterfield, hopefully the fun has just started because Stage 1 wasn't super exciting. Stage 2 wasn't super exciting. Stage 3, it was a good finish. There's no doubt about that, but it was really just the last 3 kilometers to go in today's Stage 3 that's worth watching. Everything before that's a bit of a sleeper, so hopefully when we're talking about Wout van Aert's comment saying the fun has ended right here, well, it's probably ended for him, but for us sitting on the Chesterfield, it's going to get exciting. So what is Sepp Kuss and Viz Melisabike going to do in tomorrow's Stage 4 of the Vuelta a España? Remember, Wout van Aert's wearing the race leader's red jersey. Well, we back it up just a little bit. On the Butterfly Effects edition, we go back into Stage 1 of the individual time trial where I told you Brandon McNulty does not want to be stuck riding the front. Well, Viz Melisabike doesn't want to be stuck riding the front in tomorrow's mountain stage either. With 4 mountain climbs to pass and a summit finish to end tomorrow's Stage 4, you do not want to do extra work. Viz Melisabike have the race leader's red jersey, but if I'm the DS, there's no way I'm riding tomorrow's stage at all. I'm covering the moves from Bora Hansgrohe. I'm making Bora Hansgrohe ride the front, or UAE Team Emirates ride the front because they have Brandon McNulty sitting high up on the general classification, and Primoz Roglic is sitting high up on the general classification. Wout van Aert has climbed well in Tour de France years if I take you back a couple years, but I don't think he's winning the Vuelta a España right now, and with his comments, he doesn't think he's winning either because he says it's going to be a stage for Kian Utelbrooks and Sepp Kuss in tomorrow's Stage 4. But do you ride the front if you're wearing the race leader's red jersey? no way I'm riding the front. It's Bora Hansgrohe with Primoz Roglic's job to ride the front tomorrow. Or at the very least, you go to the next team that's highest on general classification, UAE Team Emirates, with Brandon McNulty. But if I'm Brandon McNulty, I don't ride the front either. I make Bora Hansgrohe do everything, because we all know when you're sitting at home on the Chesterfield right now, if Primoz Roglic is in his 100% top fitness of form that he's had, well, we know there's nobody else in this race that's on the same page 1 of the Butterfly Effect and Beyond the Coverage, because when I look at Primoz Roglic, he's the 3rd best rider in the world. There's nobody close to his level if he's 100% on form. So tomorrow should be a stage where Bora Hansgrohe, if all the directive sportifs ride it correctly, Bora Hansgrohe have to ride tomorrow in stage 4. Or they're going to have to let it break, go up the road, gain massive time, and then maybe one of the smaller teams that wins from that breakaway tomorrow controls the race for the next week here at the Vuelta a España. But either way, if I'm Visma Lease Bike and Wout van Aert's wearing the red race leader's red jersey here at the Vuelta a España, no way I'm touching the front. Make sure you like and subscribe. The fun has just begun for tomorrow's stage 4, regardless of what Wout van Aert just got done saying in his interview. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next edition real soon.